We're up to the final piece of clear. We're doing the R. Respond neutrally. Neutrally means a neutral perspective, not a positive perspective, not a negative perspective, something that holds space for what you don't know yet. This matters because it's a new way of communicating. It's not your instincts. It's your principles. It's playing the long game. And by the end of this episode, you're going to learn what neutral sounds like and why it's way more powerful than being nice and how to catch yourself when you're being defensive. I'm Corey Shapiro. This is the Getting Divorced Without Losing Your Mind podcast. Let's start with a story about a subway car in New York City. Stephen Covey relays a story about getting on the subway car. It's peaceful. It's Sunday morning. And these three rambunctious kids come on with this father, and they are just acting out. And after what he said was a lot of restraint, he said, "Sir, can't you calm these kids down? What's going on?" And the father basically said, "Oh, I didn't really notice. We just came from the hospital about an hour ago and their mom died. I just don't really know what to think." See, that's what neutral does. It holds space for what you don't know yet. Now, let's put our lawyer hat on to really understand what's going on. There's a chain I want you to understand. Once your perspective changes, just like in that story, perspective change in a second. Your delivery changes. How you feel, how you think changes. And then there's no escalation. So let's go through some examples. When you're charged in a divorce context, you could say, you never bring the children on time. Or you can say, I noticed the children are coming late for pickups and drop-offs. Can we talk about that and tell me what's going on? See how it's softer, it's nicer, it's inquisitive. You're not judging. You can also say, I noticed it seems to be the maintenance payments are always late. Or, I really need those maintenance payments for the rent. And I noticed that they are not on the first of the month. How can we ensure that they can come on the first of the month so I can pay my rent? How can we deal with that? All right. Now, I had to learn this the hard way. And that's why I'm teaching you a simplified technique to not escalate things. But we are planning this trip to go to Disney, a family trip. And I invited my mom because it's in Florida and she lives a few hours away and she is up in her years. But I invited her and she months in advance and she initially committed. She sounded so excited, enthusiastic. But I told my wife and my extended family, I don't know if she's actually going to come because when I was in college, she committed early on for the graduation. But then just I think a week before the graduation canceled and she gave some flimsy excuse. And my college was in California. She lived in Florida at the time. And the same thing happened. She canceled after being so invested in coming. But the difference was when I was in college, I got angry and I responded angry because how is she going to cancel like any kid would? I didn't have the tools. But here, I didn't want to damage the relationship like I did in college. And my goal was just to make her feel included, to cared, to be loved. All that happened even without her coming. And that's the difference. Because maybe, she wanted to come, but then when she really thought about it, it just didn't work for her. And I'm not going to judge, her thinking process like I did in college because you're not going to get anywhere. It's not logical. So that's how this works. It gives people space. I want you to think of the R as the glue that holds all this together. It's not being passive. It just being neutral, knowing what you don't have the whole story yet. That's how you make clear work. That's how you do this. All right, so let me give you an action step. When something triggers you, you're going to ask yourself one question. What's another way to read this? Don't have to find the answer. You just have to ask the question. That's what you have to do. And let me just break this to you. This is hard work. This is not easy. But I do think this is easier and better than having a long-term Cold War or major conflict with your co-parent. Better for you and better for the children. All right, so now you have gotten all the techniques for the clear method. You know how to calm emotions. That's your C. You know how to look for small agreements. You know how to express shared values. You know how to ask and not demand. And here we focused on the R. But now I want to go through it all in a scenario lab, our second of the season. I'm going to walk through exactly how to do it so you'll see it in action and you're going to get better at executing this, especially in difficult situations. I'm Corey Shapiro. Let's step forward with clarity together.
This podcast offers general information only. It cannot replace legal advice. If you need tailored advice, contact an attorney licensed to practice in your area.